Hi everyone, my name's Charlie and I've helped over 150 people win their PIP claims and I received PIP myself. Today I'm going to go through everything about PIP and how you can win, obviously if you're entitled to it. This is my YouTube channel and this is an updated version of this video here, how to win. I did this video a year ago. I have learned so much since then. So I'd say even if you've watched this one, there's going to be a lot of new information in here, a lot of really helpful tips. Before we get into everything, I need you to remember that this is your life. It's your claim. You have to be comfortable with everything you do about it. So when you watch this video, if there's anything you don't agree with, just ignore me. It's completely your choice, okay? So let's talk about the assessment. My second most disliked video is where I've said the assessors are lovely. Okay? Now, I do think that because the people I work with are prepared, and because obviously the people I work with, apart from two, are massively entitled to PIP. Okay, so straight away, even before they start the assessment, they have the information. And then because they've worked with me, they're prepared, they're organised, and they're communicating clearly. I do think that helps. I really think it helps. It makes the assessor's job easier and they can identify if someone's telling the truth or not because they have a very short amount of time to try and figure out where you score and are you telling the truth? Is this really your life? Are you entitled to this? In the assessment, it will be a conversation. Now, I made the mistake when I first did my PIP. I had all my paperwork set out, all in piles. I was ready. You will not get time to go through your notes. They will chat to you in conversation. Now, I am going to show you notes that I use, that my clients use, okay, that work very well, and I'll explain to you in a bit more detail in a minute. The person doing the assessment is not the person that gives you the points. It goes from the assessor to a caseworker. They review the notes, they review the evidence, they give the points. Then, for example, the review, it will be done by someone else. Mandatory reconsideration, done by someone else. As far as I'm aware, it's always a different person that looks at the case, so it's a fresh set of eyes. Please write this down. I know I say this a lot. Current daily life. When you're in your assessment, it's current daily life. Not would you do this, it's do you do it? Okay, what is your life? It is not what you used to do. A lot of people make the mistake, again, because we block, we don't want to be a burden, and we don't want to have to face the reality of how severe our conditions are. Okay? So a lot of people, when asked the question, do you go out? Oh, yeah, I whatever. But then when I work with them, I'm like, so when did you last do that? Oh, 2021. Why are you telling me that? Current daily life. I cannot express that. Current daily life. Promise you'll do it. I'm checking my notes, on what I've got. I'm trying to keep myself on track, and I'm checking my notes, and I'm like, current day. You honestly, because we don't want to be sick, you would not believe how much you'll flip. You'll just naturally flip in your head because we block. We don't want to be sick. Write it down. Current daily life. When you do the assessment, you can ask them to record it, but do not trust that because I've experienced it many times where the recording failed or was technical issues. I've also experienced it where they have sent the recordings, but we can't trust them with that. Okay, unfortunately. So at the beginning of the assessment, when they do their introduction, I would then say, just to let you know, I'm going to record it because, and for whatever reason, like brain fog, anxiety, I'm just going to worry about it. So I just want a record of what I've said. So long as you're not going to use it for social media, it's okay. You are entitled to record it, not film it, record it, audio. Okay. There's a lot of horror stories online about people saying about recording it. With everyone I've worked with, there's never been an issue. Okay, this is not an issue. Should you go in for the assessment? Now, all of my clients, we request a phone assessment because if you go in for the assessment, so the government is saying about doing more face-to-face, but this is why I'm against it. Okay. When you go, first of all, our culture in this country, it doesn't matter whether you're Muslim, Sikh, like whatever, doesn't matter. Our culture is when we're being assessed, we put more effort in, okay? Because we're being judged. I'm not going to turn up in my pajamas. Like when I couldn't work face to face with people. I just couldn't do it anymore. I'm not well enough, and I'm always in a certain position on my desk, which is called heart attack position because of the severity of the arthritis in my ribs. So, but if I'm face to face with people, I try and look more normal. And again, it's an invisible illness, so they can't tell anyway. And the aftermath is horrendous. We hold ourselves differently. Um, they Everything's a setup. The walking distance to the room you will be assessed in. The chair won't have arms on it because they'll be looking at how you get up from the chair. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm fucking embarrassed when I have to and we're making sounds. Even though I'm trying to do physio to build my fitness to be able to stand without having to like we don't want to do that in front of a stranger. But if you get up from the chair with no problem, then you're fine. The door handles is a setup. The amount of doors you go through, the walking distance from the parking to the assessor, everything's a setup. A lot of females who aren't well enough to wear makeup going through the assessment will put makeup on. If you can put mascara on or something like that, that says a lot about your ability. It doesn't matter if it's the first time you've done it in 2 years. They're not gonna care. They're just gonna look at that. Have you got a handbag? Are you carrying the handbag? I cannot tell you how much of a setup it is. And I do not agree with it. I agree that we need to be assessed. Okay. I do not agree with the way it's done. I don't. It's so fucking invasive, and the way that some people do it, and some no, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. So all of my clients, um, we request a phone assessment. So for most, remember, people do not book me when they've got a boo-boo. So because of the severity of their lives, we request a phone assessment. So say, for example, someone's got PTSD. So they're a ex-police officer with PTSD or CPTSD. So going out, there are so many triggers. Well, no, they're not going in for a fucking assessment. No, because the anxiety of just leaving their home is horrendous. So I mirror it to what their life is. And also, you can request the gender of the assessor you'd like. That's a reasonable request. They don't mind. I promise they don't mind. Especially if you've got to talk about gynae stuff, incontinence. I have many male clients that just feel more comfortable with a female, or if it's past trauma, like it's absolutely fine. They are totally fine with it. So on your form, you can request this, not a problem. So what about having someone with you? Okay, now look, I'm going to be honest with you. If you've got someone that is anxious and waffles and interrupts, no, just don't fucking have them. It's just going to make it worse. Okay. When you have someone with you in the assessment, they are not allowed to speak for you. Okay. They want to speak to you. Now, I've got clients that are non-verbal, autistic non-verbal, and the assessor will go, "Can you pass the phone to them?" And it's like, you've seen all the medical records, but they still have to have the phone to go, "Is it right for your mum to speak for you?" Right, or on video like this, right? Okay. Um, they're not to speak for you. Now, I was offering it to anyone, but I can't because I'm only offering it to current clients where we do practice sessions. And the reason that I've had to do that is because what I was finding is when it was someone that I hadn't worked with before, they just didn't know where they stood within PIP, right? Again, because it's such a head fuck, so I was having to do like a claim meeting with them to figure out what their life was before we could even do the practice session. Because otherwise, like when I was asking the questions, they were just scoring zeros, maybe 2 points. But the way they were answering, I'm like, hang on a minute, something's not right. So then I was asking more, and I was like, fuck. So it'd take me 3 times as long to do it. So current clients, I do practice sessions, and if they have someone with them that is organised, good at notes, will follow procedure, that will get a step ahead of the trickery. don't forget PIP tricky, I'm going to link to a video in a minute, then yes, having that person there is brilliant. Sometimes people don't want family or friends there because even your close family might not understand the full details of what happened or how much it fucks with your head, um, or about being a burden. And then most of us end up crying in the assessments. I sobbed my heart out the first one, which jaw joints and ribs made it even worse. I couldn't stop crying. Before I started PIP, I thought I didn't have any problems going to the toilet. When I filled out that form and had to face the facts of my life at early 30s, I was devastated. Now, because I do this, I just talk about it, right? But then I was mortified. I was so embarrassed. One thing that someone with you is good for, so when I help people with assessments, what I tend to do is this when they're doing good, when I want them to stop talking. I cannot tell you. If you have someone with you, do these signs. You're doing good. And we'll show you the practice notes, okay? Yes. Stop talking. In my assessment, I did it. Because there's so much to cover and you think, I need to say that, I need to say that, I need to say... And then you're worried about trickery because they do that a lot. Let me show you trickery videos. You've got to watch these videos, okay? Do you know what? It's thanks to some of you that I actually cut this video, because this video was from another one that I did. And I cut it because people said to me it made them laugh so much. I cut it and look, nearly 200,000 views. This is really good. Okay. Oh, did you see that? That's the practice. That's the practice notes for the assessment. Yes, this is very, very good. So these trickery videos, watch them. Okay. All of them. Just watch all of them. Okay. I tried to keep them short. They're really important. So if you do have someone with you, they need to watch these as well because they need to be aware of the trickery. These videos are Ricky Gervais and the Minions. That doesn't look very professional, does it? These practice videos are very good. Okay. I know that I created them and it's like, oh, cocky much. No, when I say very good, I mean adds value. Okay. And there's not many things that I would say, oh, I'm good at this. Like geography, shit. Maths, shit. So many things I'm shit at. Technical stuff, shit at it. But when it comes to these, they're good. I promise they're good. This is the hardest bit. The hardest bit. And when I work with people, I cannot tell you how long we spend on this. How does it feel? What does your condition feel like? How do you feel on the inside when you're mixing with people? What's going through your head when a stranger looks at you? How does it feel when you're having a panic attack? What does your pain feel like? Honestly, I spend a lot of time working with people on this. And it's like, what I do love about this is I love to problem solve. It's like a jigsaw. But you haven't got all the pieces. So when I start working with someone, sometimes for pain, and I go, what does it feel like? And they're like, painful, sore. That's not enough. That is not enough information. Oh my God. Right. You lot, how do you feel? Tired. Tired? I'm telling you now, every fucking client I've worked with that has said tired, I'm like, when I'm looking at their conditions and their treatment and their life, and I'm like, because I make a lot of notes, right? And I'm like, tired is not how you feel. Tired is what an able-bodied person feels like. At the end of the day, they're like, oh, I'm really tired. They go to bed, they feel better. That's tired. Chronic illness, in my experience, doesn't make you feel tired. It's fucking exhausting. It's fatigue. It's horrendous. The feelings bit is very difficult, and it is critical because it is unique to you. Do the best that you can. Really dig about what it feels like. And do you know what's really hard as well? So my jaw joints hurting. What's really hard as well is, if for those of you that have got stuff going on in your head, right? Whether it's depression, PTSD, paranoia, whatever it is, right? And someone looks at you and thoughts are going through your head. This is it's a bit heartbreaking when I do this, right? Because I'm like, I need you to tell me what just went through your head, what goes through your head, what really goes through your head. And then obviously we build up to this. I don't just start this at the beginning of a meeting. And then they'll say something and I'm like, is that the watered down version of what's going through your head? A lot of the time, yeah, because people don't want to say what's really going through their head. And then I'm like, depending on what they've said, depends on whether I'll right, you know, what is going through your head. Because a lot of the time we don't get a long time to talk to people about our conditions, about our life, do we? So for a lot of people, having the opportunity to sit and talk about it holistically, this is what PIP is amazing for. Talk about everything, the whole thing, medication, conditions, how it impacts your life, everything. How you've become isolated, that we're a burden, we feel like we're a burden or we are a burden. The amount of times that I piece things together, like those of you that have migraines, when you do this and you do the diary, the amount of times I can piece it together and go, hang on a minute, because we do averages of days. I can then be like, hang on a minute. So this is on average 3 days. This is on average 2 days. That's on average 4 days. So if I add the days together, and we'll figure things out. It's amazing. Honestly, this process it totally changed my life for the better. And for many, many, many of my clients, this is a major positive. Major positive for you and those close to you. Major positive. Do you know what my next action point is? Cut the crap and shut up. I've just been chatting. But I think it was good stuff. It's hard to shut up. Okay. Ooh, I don't think I clarified this enough, right? So it's unique to you. I think I've said that. But I've helped over 150 people, right? And every time I work with them, someone says something I've never heard before. Every single time. And when they say things like that, I fucking write it down word for word, right? And then we use that in their form because it's not Charlie says, fuck no. It's not like that old Charlie says, no. It's for anyone that's younger, there used to be some sort of, was it a cat? Charlie says, Charlie says, look both ways before crossing the road, that sort of thing. It's not that. Like, your PIP is obviously unique to you. It's your terminology. There's no right or wrong way to say things because it's unique to you. Have confidence that if that's how you say something, write it like that. It's your claim, your life, your words. It doesn't need to be posh. I mean, let's fucking face it, look at the state of me. It doesn't need to be posh. It's just got to be true, accurate to your life, current daily life, and just how you say it. Be brave. So let's have a look at the practice notes, okay? We're going to be quite quick because I know we've covered so much. And again, I've shown you the practice videos, all right? This document is 3 pages long. Sorry, my fingers aren't working. That is 3 fingers up. 3 pages long. That is it, right? I'm just going to make it smaller, okay? That is it. The red stuff is really important, what you need to remember. So this is an example that I've done, okay? So now this red, it changes with I've never ever put the same stuff in. It depends on the person I'm working with and what they need to remember that they keep forgetting. Or that it's so obvious to them they just don't say it. Okay. Now, how much, let's just take that out. I used to write a little note to people like, you can do this, and now I'm sort of leaving that off. Right. You see how much writing there is here? This is nearly too much writing. Okay. Let's go in and look more closely. Assessment notes. Right. So the blue is the activity. So you remember daily living's got 10, mobility has got 2. Right. Now, if it's bold and underlined, it's points. So for example, this is, and it's not that we're just trying to get whatever points. Again, you're painting a picture of what your life is. You are telling the truth, right? So this is what. So when the assessor will be like, can you tell me, do you have any issues preparing food? you'll be able to glance at this and go, oh, right, I have to sit in a chair because of my POTS. I get really dizzy. I can't stand for very long. I don't prepare full meals anymore. I just use the microwave. So what I would do is here is I'd put 3 days. However, whatever it is, yeah, three days a week. What on 3 days a week? What do you do for the other days of the week? I'll order a takeaway because I just haven't got the energy to do it. Yeah. So it's in your assessment, you will only be able to glance and just look at keywords that will prompt you. Okay. And again, I use these. You only include the bits that are relevant. Like if you're not going to score points in money, just don't fucking have it on it. Okay. These red bits, let me come back to you. In the assessment, your anxiety, even if like me, you don't suffer from anxiety, your anxiety is going to be through the roof, right? Odds are you're probably going to cry. Even if like you're like me where you're actually really tough. I know that I've actually got quite a few videos crying, but I'm an ex-transport specialist in charge of hundreds of men. Like it was not acceptable for me to stop crying about something. You know, don't forget, like I did 25 years. So decades ago, there's still not many women in transport now. So if you showed weakness, that was fucking it. But this sort of situation, it's awful. So we get emotional. That's okay. You've got to be honest. Everything we do is our nature to sort of be positive, to be hopeful. That a lot of people say to me, yeah, but I want to be able to go out for lunch. Yeah, no, you do. It's current life. Okay. The challenge with PIP is not hope, it's fact. That's it. Fact. And what you'll find is because it's so nerve-wracking, like sometimes in those red bits, I have to write pain. Because when you're getting questions and they'll be like, so why are you not able to have a bath on your own? It's so obvious why, but because it's so obvious, you're sort of thinking, because my fucking hips don't work. You know, um, but it's so obvious. So you need the prompts, okay, to keep you on track. And there's going to be curveballs. They're going to ask something you didn't expect that I've not covered in my videos yet because I'm trying to do really focused videos because of your time and energy, but I need to do a lot more on the assessments. Okay. If you have someone with you, make sure they've got that as well. So, sorry, really important. I know this is like near the end of the assessment bit. For your assessment, you will have my recommendation is that the assessment notes that I've just shown you and a document with your conditions. You know, on the form where you do conditions, data, diagnosis, medications, dosage, how often you take them, any side effects. You will have to go through that if you're doing a claim. Even though it's written down, they will ask you it 99% of the time at the beginning of the assessment. Okay, they will ask you it. So you'll have that so that you can just read it off, get that done as quick as possible because you want to focus on the PIP stuff. Okay, the actual points. Finally, last thing about assessments, the notes that they write are not going to match your life. Very, very unicorn rarely will they match your life. Prepare yourself for this. It's perfectly normal. They're not going to match your life. And quite often they say things that you're like, I never said that. I've experienced it where people are taking inhalers, they can't breathe, and the notes say, no problem breathing. They do not match your life. They will not match what you said. Prepare yourself for it. It is normal. Okay, what we're focused on is, have you been treated fairly when it comes to the points? That's it.